Welcome to highlights of the fifth and penultimate stage of the Tour Down Under. The riders would have a chance to breathe in some fresh sea air today as we skirt down the coastline from Glenelg and wind up in Victor Harbour 149 kilometres later. Like yesterday, there's the potential for the wind to pick up and animate the run-in, plus the climb of Kirby Hill 20 kilometres from the finish could offer a launch pad for the non-sprinters to make their mark on the stage. Richie Porte remains the overall leader, but only 3 seconds separated him from the reigning Tour Down Under champion Daryl Impey at the start of the day. With 2 intermediate sprints inside the opening 60 kilometres of the stage, we were expecting a compact start to proceedings, and that's exactly what we got. Only Axel Demont of AG des Ailes Mondial was allowed up the road, briefly, but he was reabsorbed as the peloton turned off the Southern Expressway and straight towards the first intermediate sprint on McLaren Flat. As expected, Mitchelton Scott were assembling a full lead-out train for Daryl Impey to try and grab maximum bonuses, but the South African was foiled by the rainbow bands of Mads Pedersen once again. Nothing personal, just protecting the interests of his teammate in the ochre jersey. 20 kilometres later, and another opportunity for Mitchelton Scott to steal that overall lead, and this time there was nothing Pedersen could do to stop Impey from taking the virtual ochre jersey by 2 seconds. A word in the radio thanking his teammates for their hard work, but the speed wasn't letting up just yet. Reason being, Rowan Dennis had decided to counter straight after the sprint. What seemed like an audacious move suddenly gained a bit more credibility when Simon Yates joined him, and even Richie Porte closing the gap himself to join them. Pedersen going from front to back after all that hard work, a great deal of panic in the bunch as Ineos had also managed to get Pavel Sivakov and Dylan van Baarle in the move. But there was too much at stake to let this one go, although surprisingly it was Jumbo-Visma electing to chase and eventually snuff out the GC Renegades. It wasn't until after the feed zone that a more permanent break was established. A 4-rider group of Ineos' Ian Stannard, along with a fully rejuvenated Mads Pedersen, Ida Schelling of Bora Hansgrohe and Josef Czerny of CCC hit out with 70 kilometres to go. Czerny himself only 1 minute 59 down on GC. He held the virtual lead for a short while, but the team of the overall leader-elect, combined with the help of Astana, didn't allow the time gap to rise much above 2 minutes. It was game over for the breakaway as we made it to Kirby Hill, and now the brief for Lucas Hamilton was very clear. Get to the front and bury yourself, and sure enough it didn't take long for some cracks to occur further back. It was enough to spring an 11-rider elite group clear over the top, including Porte, Yates, Dennis, Van Baarle, Sivakov, George Bennett, Ulissi and Impey. It was spoiling the sprinters' party, and it almost got worse for Caleb Ewan in the chase group, a touch of wheels shooting him to the opposite side of the road. Fortunately he was able to hold it up. Also in this group were Sam Bennett and Andre Greipel. Luckily there were plenty of interested parties in this group that were hoping to see the front of the race again. Porte was probably hoping for that to happen too. Impey would be a danger for the stage win in a group of climbers, and he could certainly do without him taking another 10 bonus seconds at the line. Reinforcements did arrive, mostly in the form of Thomas de Gent, who closed up the last few hundred metres pretty much by himself. Mitchelton Scott still at least had the luxury of being able to hold position at the front, still with outside hopes of a top 3 for Impey. Into the final kilometre though, and it was NTT who had strength in numbers and were doing their very best to load everyone to the front in aid of their sprinter Giacomo Nizzolo. Cam Meyer was still there at the final corner, looking longingly behind him for his teammate Daryl Impey, while Roger Kluge dutifully drove to the last 300 metres. He'd opened up a gap that only Nizzolo and Simone Consoni could follow, and suddenly they were fighting it out for the stage win. Nizzolo capping a nice clean sprint with his first victory of the season, and a first for his newly branded team NTT. You can see from the aerial shot here where the numbers really help for Nizzolo. His teammate in 4th place losing the wheel of Consoni by accident or design, and when Kluge peeled off there was literally only 2 people in the picture. At least that is until the last 25 metres or so. Sam Bennett coming to the line with speed, but way too far back to challenge for the win. Fresh start for this team with Bjarne Riis now at the helm as team manager, and Nizzolo himself will be hoping to improve on his 3 victories in 2019. Here's your top 10. All the big sprinters in there, but not well positioned enough to fight for glory. That hard climb followed by an equally hard chase will surely have deadened the legs too. This man has fought tooth and nail for the right to wear this jersey. Only time will tell though if a 2-second lead is enough to fend off Richie Porte on the final stage. Apart from the top 2, there are no more shuffles down the ranks, with everybody losing a couple of seconds here and there thanks to Impey and his intermediate sprint heroics. Everybody will be well aware of what's to come tomorrow, where the race organisers have saved the best till last. The traditional Willunga Hill stage now takes its pride of place on Australia Day and on the 6th and final day of the Tour Down Under, with a tried and true formula. 3 big laps starting from McLaren Vale, passing by Aldinga Beach, before taking a left turn onto the road to Old Willunga Hill.